Well, hi, good morning, and welcome to my shop, and thank you for joining me. And where have I been for the last 10 days? I've been making videos for a dozen years now. I'm posting pretty much a video every day on old radio repair, and more recently I've done a few opinion videos, I guess I could call them. Stand and deliver videos is what I like to call them. Well, what happened here, if you don't realize it, we had a huge ice storm here in Ontario, very serious ice storm. At the end of the ice storm, there were 1 million people out of power in a province here. There's about 17 million people live here. One of the hardest hit areas is exactly where I live. And in my case, one of the last houses to be turned back on in my city of Aurelia was my house. Somehow we got to the end of the list. Actually, I know the reason for that. My house has an electrical service that comes from poles in the backyard. Called a backyard feed. It's very common. Hydro people or power workers, they don't like that. Often the right-of-ways are overgrown with trees and stuff like that, and an ice storm is just the worst thing that can come along. My city of Aurelia is full of this kind of service, backyard service. So I'm going to show you some video here. It's what I managed to shoot while the storm was going. It's going to start with me discovering in the morning, right at the start of the video I'm going to show you, what's outside my house. And you'll see things covered in ice, but the major limb fall hadn't occurred yet, so the trees look like they're full of limbs. But a matter of 5 or 6 or 7 hours later, many of the trees have been stripped, maybe of 30% of their limbs. One of the worst trees I saw is my own tree in my own front yard, an old tree, and most of the major limbs came right off of it, so now it's a skinny tree. And the other thing is there are many trees, still hundreds and hundreds of trees with huge limbs dangling high up in the tree. That's the case on my property and just all over the city of Aurelia. There are, my neighbor called them widowmakers, big branches waiting to fall out of trees. The ice storm came to a sudden end. It was one day of rain, one overnight, and then through the day, constant freezing rain. And then overnight that night, the temperature went way up to like 10 or 15 degrees, something crazy like that. And a heavy rain came and all the ice was removed. So when we got up the next morning, all the ice was gone. Most of the trees, surprising to me, had lifted back up. I was quite surprised. But of course the broken limbs didn't lift up, and piles of stuff on the ground. What we've been told here as citizens in Aurelia is to drag our broken branches to the edge of the street, and the town will come by and collect them, chip them up, and take them away. But that's liable to take 2 to 3 weeks based on the amount of stuff here. So anyway, I'll put this video on and I'll talk my way through it. What are you eating here? And I'll show you what happened here. Okay, so this is me coming out of my garage door with my camera running, and I'm looking for the first time at what has happened on our property. And I'm sorry for the quality of the video, but it's me transferring it over and over, and it lost a lot of its quality. So that tree right there in our front yard, you can see a big limb down on it. Well, all the rest of these came down later. So as I said, the ice storm was really continuing here. If you listen carefully, you can still hear raindrops falling. I'm heading into my backyard here. There's the power lines at the back of our yard and all the trees hanging on them, and the primary line is missing. It's already been knocked down. That's my linden tree right there, and the upper branches are snapped now and will have to be cut off. Get our tree guy, Corey, to come here. That's my ham radio antenna hanging there, and that's our power lines, which are all okay, transformers okay, but way at the top of the pole, the primary line has been yanked down. That's the main thing that happened here. Electricity wise. So this was pretty shocking to look at. All these things bent over and broken. Yeah. My wife and I, we hung out here in the house for about 3 or 4 days, and we just had it. It just got too cold, and running out of firewood, and hardly keep one room reasonably warm. And we headed to a hotel. But we came back each day. The hotel is just a minute away. This is my neighbor's house, and this is my house over behind here. And this is my big tree that everybody loved. You can see the limbs are still up there, but they won't be up there in the end. Gives you an idea how much ice is on the limbs. So we came back in our. I have another story now. We came back in our house, and I'm just going to stop it here while I tell another story. That's the hydro guys arriving yesterday. Up until yesterday, we never saw a hydro truck. 10 days, 9 days waiting. See all the debris here that fell out of this tree I've removed, and it's down on the side of the road down here. So my wife and I are back in our house, and I'm just going to flip to the camera here. Just bear with me a moment. This will be a little ugly. Yeah, I flipped back to the camera because the next part of the story takes place in my house here. So I'm going to spin the camera around, and you can look down the hall of the house. My wife and I were standing down there just past the vacuum cleaner at the bottom of our stairs, having a chat about what are we going to do about our dark, cold house. And suddenly I hear the sound of what to me sounds like a steam pipe. A steam pipe has burst. There's no steam pipes in our house. I look down this way because I'm standing down there. I'm looking back at the camera basically, and the room we're in here, where I'm shooting this from, is full of smoke, steam. What is that? So I go from there to here, get to the doorway. There's some kind of heavy mist filling my shop here with steam, smoke. What is it? You know what it is? It's a fire extinguisher. So I had a fire extinguisher sitting on the floor down here, and for reasons I don't know, it went off. The pin was out of it. I don't know why the pin was out. I've had this thing for 10 years, just sitting in different places in the house, but I usually have it sitting down there in case. Well, it's gone off. It's just sitting there pumping out stuff. The mist in here, if you like, or the powder is what it is. It's so thick. You see where my hands are? I couldn't see a thing below where my hands are. This thick cloud. I couldn't see my legs or anything. So I run out. Okay, I'm ready for this. I got a face mask out in the garage. So I grab the face mask. It's brand new. It's still in the plastic package. But by now, I'm totally beside myself with, I gotta move fast here because the house is filling with this stuff. I'm sorry, I missed one part of the story. When I came down to look, I realized what it was. I reached down, I managed to grab the fire extinguisher. I think it was either empty or I stopped it. I don't know. I just whipped out of the house with it. So I'm out in the garage where I've got the new face mask. The house is filling with this mist. This dust is going through the whole house. My wife's in the garage. We don't know what to do. And I've got this plastic package now. You know, you buy things in the store. They come wrapped in a plastic package. You can't get it open unless you use like a hacksaw to get it open. So there I am trying to no hope for that. So I find some scissors. I cut it open. I look in the house. The mist is everywhere in here. It's just everywhere through the house now. Finally I get the mask out. I put the mask on. You know, those things are made so you whip them on, you pull some things, and they snap tight on your face. Here's the mask over here, sitting right there. But you know what? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I could not get this thing. Why? I just was just beside myself. So I just stuck it on my face and held it, and away I went into the house. I decided to open the windows. So now I'm going through a house full of powder. Get the windows open. It's all dark. Like, you know, it is daytime, but there's no lights or anything in the house. Get the windows open. Stuff is coming out of all the windows on our house. My wife's all upset in the garage. I go back out. There's nothing else I can do. Go back out, wait a while. Everything settles down fairly quickly because the dust is heavy. I come back in the house. I have some pictures to show you. See, the house is all cleaned up now, mostly, except in this room. But that was just covered in this powder. This powder went everywhere in my house. See the vacuum cleaner there? I thought, well, I'll grab the vacuum and I'll start vacuuming it up, even though it's a problem to vacuum up dust. You know what's more of a problem? Trying to run a vacuum when you've got no power. I had no power. I plugged that thing in the wall. I turned it on. And I went, hey, what's going wrong here? Oh, man. Okay. So I'm laughing about it now, but at the time, oh my gosh, blackout, house full of stuff. Here's some more photographs here. Well, here's one of the photographs here, and it shows some of the dust from the fire extinguisher. And you see it going down through the house and in through this room and up the stairs and all around and here and there and everywhere. That's just another. That's actually the hall going out to our garage. That's our garage out there. You can see all the dust in that. There's so much dust that here in my shop I broomed this up and filled a bucket. This dust is really thick through here, and it's still in my shop. I have today's project is to take things out of my shop and clean them properly, because all he did was a panic job in here. So that was an exciting moment. Now the hydro guys are here. This is yesterday this took place. That's my neighbor's yard we're looking into with the large pool of water. And that guy is way up there. It's easy to not appreciate what these people do, because mostly we never see it being done. But tell me, you think that's dangerous what he's doing? Of course it is. Now you can see the pole and the missing primary line at the very top. So what these guys are doing is they're making it safe for the linemen to come and do their work next. So first the tree guys go in and trim away any dangerous limbs in that. They certainly weren't generous. They left a lot of broken limbs, and people will have, my neighbors and I will have to hire people to come and clean some of this up. Whoops, I almost dropped my phone there, unfortunately. Okay, I may have made a little bit too much video with this guy chopping. Okay, it's the front of my house again. There you can see the hydro trucks finally on our street. The guys showed up en masse when they showed up. And this is a bit of a joke for me. When the power came on, our television came on and said, "Are you still there?" Which my wife and I got a chuckle out of. So tomorrow I'll get back to posting regular radio videos. I'll continue on with this radio, which I started working on here, and we'll get back to that. So hope you have a great day. Our lives become normal pretty quick here once the power came back. So have a great day. See ya.